Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah and welcome to Islamic Stuff. We are back with our next episode in our series Lessons for Life from the Prophets, and the prophet which we are going to discuss today is Prophet Lūṭ alayhi salam. We all know the story of Prophet Lūṭ alayhi salam almost by heart because the essence and the lessons it carry is so relevant in today's day and age. Prophet Lūṭ alayhi salam was sent to the nation of Sodom and Gomorrah, and Lut alayhi salam was the nephew of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. Ibrahim alayhi salam, when migrated, he took Prophet Lut alayhi salam with him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Prophet Lut alayhi salam the command to go and teach the people of Sodom and Gomorrah to get back to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Lut alayhi salam, his nation was steeped in homosexuality or same-sex relationships, and we know it has been a problem in today's day and time. It has been very controversial and very problematic thing to talk about today because it's considered highly sensitive with regards to everything and every topic. We should also take heed of the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding the same sex relationship, which our generation, God forbid, are indulged in this. So the story of Lut alayhi salam is quite simple but is extremely horrific. The outcome of the nation of Sodom and Gomorrah was horrendous. The outcome of the nation of Sodom and Gomorrah was catastrophic. They were destroyed, they were ruined. The wife of Prophet Lut alayhi salam, who herself was a non-believer and somebody who gave the insights of the house when the guests arrived to the people of Sodom and Gomorrah, who were evil, vile, and even threatening Lut alayhi salam to leave their nation if whenever he is telling them to correct their paths to get back to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was also telling him to incur the wrath of God if he is so much telling him if they are going to continue with their ways of having same sex relationship, the homosexuality, getting on to men, males, rather than marrying legally the females, the daughters of Prophet Lut alayhi salam, as it has been mentioned in the Quran. So of course he was the father of the nation, so his daughters would be the people of the ummah, the females of the his ummah. So when we see the story of Lut alayhi salam was in the town of Sodom and Gomorrah, where people were extremely vile. They used to rob whoever used to pass through their region, the area. They even used to, murder, rape, robbery. All these things were so common. All these crimes were committed very heinously, and apart from doing all these things, they used to talk about it publicly and rather cherish all these things. So it was the first nation, the nation of Lut alayhi salam, which indulged in the crime, in the sin of homosexuality, of immorality, of having same-sex relationships. So Lut alayhi salam, time to time, he used to tell his people to mend their ways, to get back to the way of God, to get back to their original self, to get back to their orientation rather, where a male is attracted to a female and a female is attracted towards a male. How that's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created all of us. So they used to threaten him with the fact that you are a newcomer and you will be ousted from our land if you continue to preach your lesson to us. So Lut alayhi salam was very much concerned. He was a believer and his daughters, they were believers, and his wife was a non-believer. His wife used to side with the people of the Sodom and Gomorrah. So once what happened, Lut alayhi salam, Lut alayhi salam's daughter saw three handsome men coming towards the town of Sodom and Gomorrah. She rushed inside and told Lut alayhi salam about the fact, and Lut alayhi salam was concerned about their safety, about their security, because he knew the mental state, the state of affairs of his people, who were extremely vile, and they don't used to consider anyone or anything, not even see that they are outsiders, they don't belong to the town of Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lut alayhi salam was concerned for their safety. He rushed to them. First of all he gently tell them to leave the land, but he felt ashamed of the fact that he is turning his guests down. But then he invited him to his household, and his wife saw them, the three young handsome men. She then rushed to the people of Sodom and Gomorrah and spread this news that three young handsome men have came to their household, and Lut alayhi salam have taken them in. So all of the town, slowly and gradually, they just were outside of the doors of Lut alayhi salam, waiting for him to hand over three men to them in order to satisfy their lust, and that too having, sexual orientation and attraction towards males. And the three men which were there at the door of Lut alayhi salam, when approached the household of Ibrahim alayhi salam and gave the news of a child to Sarah and Ibrahim alayhi salam, and said that we were going to the town of Lut alayhi salam because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stated to punish them, and we were going to save Lut alayhi salam, of course, and the people who believe him. So they were there, and Lut alayhi salam, when he became so desperate and helpless that he felt that he will not be able to save the guests from these lusty and sleazy people, so he prayed, and then the angels told them that they will not be able to do anything to us because we are the angels of God. And one of the angels was Jibreel alayhi salam as well. Allah commanded to Lut alayhi salam to set out with his family, except his wife, at the portion of the night when everyone was asleep, as their punishment is due in the morning. So this morning, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Lut alayhi salam and his people not to look back, and he should leave his wife as she is one of the wrongdoers, and she will be struck by the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We see when the morning arrived, not one but three punishment from God Almighty befell the nation of Sodom and Gomorrah because of their vilest, because of their deadliest of sins they indulge in. And they don't even take any heed to the message of Lut alayhi salam when he asked them continuously, will you not obey Allah, will you not fear him? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first of all gave them, the occupants of the land of Sodom and Gomorrah, they heard a loud piercing cry ensued the city. It was such a loud cry that it was painful and fearful simultaneously. Then Jibreel alayhi salam grabbed the land of Sodom and Gomorrah from the edge of his wings. He took them up. He then pulled he took them up, he twisted the land, and then he crashed it down to the ground upside down. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down the rain of stones made out of clay, and every stone was inscribed with the name of a transgressor, and every stone was destined to struck a transgressor, and the name has been inscribed on the stone made out of clay. And the entire punishment of the nation of Lut alayhi salam was extremely horrific, because first of all they were grabbed by a loud piercing cry. Then the land, it was raised up, and then it was crashed to the ground altogether, and then the skies poured down the rain of stones made out of clay with the name inscribed with each sinner. The lesson which we receive from the story of Lut alayhi salam is very essential, as we all should pay heed to the fact that in today's day and age, when the idea of homosexuality is not just upheld, rather it is protected, it is cherished, it is celebrated, it is some sort of considered as a social conformity. We need to conform to their idea of accepting other people's. Even American Psychological Association, APA, one of the most credible sites, I guess till 1970s or before that, they used to believe that it was this is something which is not natural, with the idea of considering males for females, or males for males and females for females, that same sex relationship. This is not natural. It is something which is psychological. They used to conform to this idea, but due to some political reasons, this idea has been deleted from their archive, and then now they subscribe to the thing that we are born, and we are born with different sets of chromosomes, and then we might differ, and our orientations and our attractions might differ, and then they have this whole new category of so many things. When we see the ratio, there are only two sexes which we know as males and females, but then there is also a sex which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made them. They are known as intersex, and they consist of around 1.7 percentage of the entire population of the world, while us males and females, we are around 98.3 percentage. So you can see that all other categories that has been made in the recent times, lesbian, gay, this LGBTQIA plus, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex, queer, and plus plus plus, and they are started accepting anyone and everyone from every piece of land. This entire thing is not about your natural intrinsic inclination or something. It is rather, there are so many things which is pushing this idea, be it political stuff, be it psychological, psychological afflictions or psychological burden which we are going through in today's day and age. Because when we talk about this homosexuality thing, it has become, it was there, as we know from the story of Lut alayhi salam, the entire nation of Sodom and Gomorrah was, engrossed in sodomy, and they were into same-sex relationship. But then the idea, it propelled from modern age. It's a modern age, and it is flourishing in this postmodern age or postmodern age. So we need to understand, we also don't need to disrespect these people, we need to hear them out, but then it should be done with respect. We are, they are human beings, but then they might have been brainwashed in a certain way, where we started talking about, when a child is born, we should rather talk about the gender determination. Because whenever a child is born, the baby is born with genitals. We need to do is to determine. We don't, like, when we trace the body of a child, we wouldn't be able to know, it's quite natural whether it's a boy or a girl. So we would be determining. So on the contrary, today we are talking about gender assignment. We are assigning genders. Who are we to assign genders? A baby is born, and it has been given, the gender has been given by God, and who are we to interfere in this thing? And whatever the child might be going through, whatever he is while he was growing up, the people he's surrounding, the people he's around, and the kind of content he's consuming, the kind of lectures he's getting from his teachers and peers and parents and everything, it helps shapes them, it helps build them. And we need to talk to them, we need to understand what their underlying problems are, because we know there are data present that there are so many surgeries that has been happening to these people who are changing their genders. Even minors, can you believe this? Because there are a specific age where you have to fill a form that you have to give your consent that you are going to change your gender by surgery, because it cannot be undone, right? So there are people who are doing surgeries, who are going for surgeries to change their genitals, to change their sex, but then they are regretting it, and at the end of the day they are, god forbid, ending up with suicides. They are taking their own lives because they just cannot chemically, biologically align themselves with who they are. It I feel all this is happening because we are so lost with who we are. We don't know the essence of who we are as a person. We are rather trying to fit in. We look up to people. We try to say it's easier to be someone else than to be yourself, right? It's easier to follow someone else's path than to go with the entire thing of recognizing who you are, then accepting the fact that you are not perfect, that you have to work upon yourself, and doing that in your life. Then you have to just copy somebody else, because it has becoming such a big problem in today's time that we are ignoring it time and time again. But then we have to talk about it, and we have to talk about it with respect and with integrity, with accountability, and integrating everything together. And we need to help these people out with sincerity. There are people who mock everyone, but mocking won't solve problems. If we are the people of God, we have to behave like one. We have to make ourselves humane, because people are going through so much in today's time and age. They have just lost the touch with themselves. They are becoming so distant that they can't even define who they are. Like, can you believe this? And everybody is talking about their sexuality, their gender, who they think they are. Like, if we it just gives me goosebumps whenever we look at the punishment that has been given to several nations by God. And whenever we talk about the nation of Lut alayhi salam, the land of Sodom and Gomorrah, it was one of the worst punishment ever, because it was not a single punishment, but it three punishments. Three punishments: the loud, piercing cry, the rising of the nation, and then crushing it down, and then the rains of stone made out of clay. It just shakes you. So what can we do today? We can think about it, we can do our part, we can research, we can see how it's coming from, whether it's biological, whether it's psychological, what is the cause. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a parameter, and we don't need to move across that. We have a boundary, we have a parameter, and we need to measure things according to that, because we have been given the scale. All we need to do is to just find stuff, research, and then we need to measure it according to the parameter of God. If it fits in, well and good, fine, flawless. If it doesn't, we need to discard it. As simple as that. So as we all know, what we are going through in today's day and age, what our children are going through, because even the content for kids, they are getting highly sexual, and they are also instilling their little minds, their little heads, with this idea of rainbows and same sex orientations, all these things. It is destabilizing their mental health at the age where they have to think about things which make sense, which grows their mind. All they are filled with is garbage. You can teach all these things, but you need to find the right time, the right message. All these things needs to fit in. Even there are outcries in the western nation where parents are going all out and asking the principals and teachers and the school authorities to let certain chapters out of their schools. There were videos online surfacing. I have seen it. I mean, a couple of years back or some months back, it has been happening time and again. So I hope we take this as something very serious, and we think about it sincerely. We do our research, so that we can acknowledge what is happening in the world, and we also put forth our solution, put forth what's the right way, how we can talk to them, how we can, teach them the true word of God Almighty. So with this message, I am signing off today. We'll meet you in the next video super soon. Take care. Till then, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.